All right, Trenton, are we ready for the news of the week?
Absolutely.
Well, it's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They are a mortgage broker, meaning they shop the market for their clients. If you are thinking about getting a new house, you're probably going to get a loan. Talk to Eagle Mortgage. One of the first things you have to do, Holly Schneidewin and her team there are very customer service oriented. They'll sit down with you and figure out which loan makes the most sense for you, and then they shop the market. They're not beholden to one bank, and they're not beholden to 5 banks. They have a lot of banks, and they'll find the best option for you to get the best loan you can. Eagle Mortgage is located at 114th and Davenport. That's just a few blocks south of Dodge, or you can find out more about them and start the process by going to eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, Trenton, yesterday we had the annual State of the City address at City Hall. Mayor Stothert does this every year, presents it to the City Council, and then probably had about a couple hundred people there on site as well. And the State of the City address talks about a lot of things. It's basically the city version of the State of the Union. And since this show is about growth and development, I plucked out a few parts of the address related to growth and development. So we won't get in, it also talks about community safety and all sorts of other issues as well. But in terms of growth and development, a couple things that jumped out as significant to me. She talked about the flagship library at 72nd and Dodge is on target to open.
That's iconic.
Yeah, it's on target to open 1 year from next month. And also talked about CHI Convention Center expansion on the east side really is coming along nicely and is on schedule. That's a big, big project. But get a load of this. In 2024, Omaha had 19,000 building permits totaling $1.5 billion.
Is that a record?
I don't know. She didn't say. My guess is if it was a record, she probably would have said that in her remarks. Tax increment financing, very important economic development tool for keeping the core of the city strong. TIF is designed to encourage development in the city as opposed to continually knocking over cornfields, which creates more traffic jams. So if we look at TIF, since 2015, so we'll call it 9 years because these are 2024 numbers. Since 2015, Omaha has approved 196 TIF applications for $584 million. That has led to $4.5 billion of new investment in the city of Omaha instead of the suburbs.
And I spent 5 years on the planning board, and it was an important tool then, and it's an important tool now. And cities that don't have tax increment financing opportunities, they fall behind. And this isn't given to every applicant. And this is meant to improve areas that otherwise, but for tax increment financing, the project wouldn't happen.
And the address also looked into affordable housing, which is becoming a bigger and bigger issue as Omaha's real estate becomes so much more valuable. The city has sold 50 city-owned lots, many for just $1, allowing emerging developers to build affordable housing. Mayor Stothert also mentioned in the State of the City address there will be 41 street resurfacing projects this year, which will be like full resurfacing, not just pothole replacement or anything like that. And then finally, the last one that really jumped out at me is relevant for Grow Omaha. 2 weeks from now, we will break ground on the community center at Levi Carter Park by Carter Lake by Eppley Airfield. This huge complex will include basketball, volleyball, a wrestling room, weight room, computer labs, community meeting space, and several outdoor athletic fields as well. Now, in other news, we had a very, very big thing drop into our laps this week, and that is U.S. News and World Report ranked Omaha for the first time ever as the hottest housing market in the United States of America.
Defined as
just so much activity. The houses being sold, apartments being rented, houses and apartments being built. It talked about rent increases and price increases. Some people say, oh, we don't like to see that. Well, you kind of do because it actually is a sign of a city's economic health. It kind of stinks if you're a tenant, and it's one of the reasons why we're having to work on some affordable housing stuff. But a healthy city has a healthy, steady, rising rate of real estate value. And of course, homeowners like that because their household wealth goes up as their value of their houses increase.
And also, in migrants that come to Omaha, people that are looking to buy in Omaha, generally we're a very affordable city when it comes to buying houses and selling elsewhere.
So the hottest markets, according to U.S. News and World Report, Omaha rated number one actually by a pretty sizable margin over number two, which is a small town you may have heard of, Austin, Texas. And then it was followed by Houston, Texas, Charleston, South Carolina, Denver, St. Louis, believe it or not, came in at number 6. They're having a bit of a renaissance after being down for a while. Again, this is growth, and they were kind of due for this. In fact, I'm going to mention one in a little bit that will surprise you even more than St. Louis. But St. Louis was followed by Columbia, South Carolina, a tie for number 8 between Greeley, Colorado, and Greenville, South Carolina. Number 9 was San Antonio, and 10, which is technically 11 because there was an 8, number 8 tie, Detroit, Michigan. But again, it was so struggling, and they've worked so hard to bring it back.
Rocket Mortgage.
That it has made it one of the housing top 10
having
housing
Omaha
markets.
top the list by a wide margin is definitely turning heads in the industry. That is a very impressive feat, and a lot of it has to do with the diversity of everything we do here, as far as the economy, the jobs growth, the stakeholders that invest, the people selfishly give money. Or unselfishly give money. Yeah.
That seems like a bit of an oxymoron there, my friend.
$300-400 million Riverfront Park, there's 4 or 5 families that each put in $50 million from foundations and personally and things like that. So what a great time to be in Omaha. What a great time to have a show called Grow Omaha.
Quick statistic that article mentioned that really jumped out at me, and I had not seen this before, but in the 12-month period ending just this past December, the Omaha metro area gained more than 12,000 non-farm jobs for a growth rate of 2.4%. Let that sink in for a little bit. Our entire population growth from July of 23 to July of 24 was 12,000 people, which was a very healthy population growth rate. Probably put us in the top 1/3 of the top 100 metro areas for fast growth. We actually had more jobs created than we had humans that came here. A 2.4% job increase in 1 year in a northern city like this is frankly epic. So what it tells us is more growth is to come. That's good. That's exciting. That's what we love. We're called Grow Omaha, as Trenton pointed out a minute ago, but we have to work very hard to keep increasing housing, and we have to work really hard to get more and more people in the city so that we can manage our growth efficiently. And that's going to relate really well to the interview topic we have coming up here in a moment. But Trenton, before we wrap up the news, I just want to throw in one little quick short story that you'll find exciting and interesting. The Mutual of Omaha Tower, the skyscraper downtown, which we've been following very closely throughout its construction. Glass panels started going on the outside of the tower just this week. That's a sign that things are moving.
No question about it, and you really get a feel for it. It looks like they're kind of putting on a section almost to make sure it's going to have the look that they thought it would have.
Make sure it sticks?
Yeah, make sure it sticks. They use the right rubber cement or whatever they use to put glass on towers.
I hope that's some pretty powerful rubber cement. But with that, we're going to wrap up our development news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.